Valak, and this is my new friend Matt. Matt is visiting me at my home on the Tundra this summer.
Wow, this place is so different from where I live. I hope you can teach me all about the Tundra.
Let's go for a walk. I want to show you something.
It's midnight. How come it's still light out?
The sun doesn't set here in the summer.
That's cool.
Yeah, but the winters seem very long when the sun doesn't rise for a few months.
Wow, what are those?
Those are musk oxen.
What is that plant they're eating? The blossoms look like fuzzy white caterpillars.
It's actually a willow tree. In other parts of the world, this willow tree could grow to be 30 feet tall. On the tundra, plants are small because they only have 50 to 60 days to grow every year. See how the plants grow together? That's how they protect themselves from the wind and the cold.
That is amazing. How come the ground feels so soggy?
It's called permafrost. Below this soil is a layer that is always frozen. When the earth heats up and melts the snow, it can sink into the ground so the top layer stays soggy.
These plants are so small, they don't seem very important.
Actually, the tundra takes in more carbon dioxide than it releases. That means the tundra helps the whole planet stay healthy.
What do animals do in the winter?
There isn't much food in the winter, so some animals hibernate, and others go to warmer weather. See that bird? It's an Arctic tern. It flies all the way to Antarctica for the winter. The tundra is very fragile, and some people are worried about its future.
Really? Why are people worried about the tundra?
Well, people are arguing about drilling for oil in the Alaskan wilderness. It's a big deal around here. It seems like everyone has a different idea about what they should do.
What do you think, Arvalak?
I'm not sure. Some people say our country really needs the oil, and that they have pretty safe ways of getting the oil out without doing a lot of damage to the wilderness.
What do other people say?
Some people don't think they would really get enough oil to make a big difference, and that it could hurt the fragile environment. People also worry that it would hurt the parks so that people couldn't enjoy them.
I can see both sides of this problem. What can I do to help when I go back home?
I just might have an idea. I read about a girl named Savannah who came up with an idea for a way to save oil instead of drilling new wells in the Alaskan Arctic tundra.
What was her idea?
When she was in second grade, she studied the tundra and did a report on the gray wolf. She felt a strong connection with the Arctic tundra. When she heard about Arctic drilling, she became worried that it might hurt the tundra and the animals that live there.
What did she do?
She learned that many people don't put enough air in their cars' tires. This wastes around 4 million gallons of gas a day. Savannah wants kids to help her spread the word to drivers on Earth Day, so she started Pump 'em Up. She thinks that if Americans pumped up their tires, we would save as much oil as could be produced in the Arctic tundra.
That's exciting. When I go home, I'm going to share what I learned about the tundra with the kids in my school and organize some Pump 'em Up activities for Earth Day. I think there are a lot of things that kids can do to help our planet. What do you think?
Forest.
Hi, I'm Angelina, and this is Pongo. We live near this beautiful forest. Let's take a walk into the woods to see the waterfall. Grandma, can you come with us to the waterfall?
Of course, dear. You know how much I love walking in the forest. What do I always say?
Listen to the
leaves dancing in the wind and see how the tree branches reach for the sky. I'm going to tell you a story about when I was a girl.
Oh, Grandma, I love your stories.
When I was a little girl, I lived near a tropical rainforest in Costa Rica. Each day I walked to a hidden waterfall. It was my favorite place in the world. I remember the sounds of chattering monkeys, the spongy warm earth beneath my feet, and the sight of delicate white orchids and light green palm trees along my path.
Wow, that's very different from my forest.
Yes, in this forest ecosystem, there are different plants and animals. The path is covered in pine needles. You see deer, squirrels, and beavers, and the trees turn golden in the fall.
There it is, the waterfall.
Forests are beautiful, but they are also very important. Trees like these provide most of the oxygen we all breathe to live, but forests of all kinds are in danger.
How can a forest be in danger? Grandma, why do you say the forest ecosystems are in danger?
Well, people use the trees from the forest for many things. Trees become paper or wood to build houses and furniture. Wood is burned to keep people warm. Many people's jobs depend on the forest as well. The need for wood and paper is so great that sometimes entire areas are clear-cut and no trees remain. Did you know that here in the U.S. logging and development have destroyed over 95% of the original forests?
Really?
And it's happening all over the world. The monarch butterfly's winter forest home in Mexico is in danger. So are the Siberian tiger's forests in Russia and jaguar's habitat in the Amazon rainforest.
But don't people realize that when they cut down trees, the animals will have no place to live?
Yes, many people realize the problems, and many people have different opinions on how to solve them. Unlike some resources, though, trees are a renewable resource. That means people can help the earth by planting new trees. This is sometimes called reliefing. If we plant trees, we help the earth because the trees clean the air we breathe and provide a home for plants and animals. Their roots hold soil in place, and this helps to keep rivers and streams clean.
So planting trees is a way for us to do something good for the earth? I guess we should plant some trees, Grandma.
That's a great idea, Angelina. Let me show you something.
Since trees are a renewable resource, we can plant trees to help the earth, right?
That's right, dear. Do you see these people here? They are people who are part of a local group that wants to help the environment by planting trees. Soon this empty field will be beautiful once again.
So many people are helping out. This is great. Do you think we can help too?
I'm sure they would love to have our help. Let's go join them. People are planting trees around the world for many different reasons. Sometimes they replace forests that are destroyed by wildfires or logging. They can also make a home for threatened or endangered species.
When people realize how much the forest gives us, they'll want to do something to help.
You're right. Our group is planting more than 50 trees.
But what about the rainforest where you grew up? I'm too far away to plant trees there.
No, you can't plant trees there, but you can raise money that can be used by others to help conserve the rainforest.
Maybe we can have a concert at school and use the money we raise selling tickets to help the tropical rainforest.
That's a great idea, dear. We can ask your parents, your teachers, and your friends to help. Look at the ecosystem where you live and try to find places where trees can be planted. Do you think planting trees can help?
Aquatic.
Morning is my favorite time to walk along the beach.
Mine too. You can hear the seagulls greet the morning and the smell of salt is in the air. I love to watch the sun rising behind the boats.
Dad, look at the crab.
It's amazing how many different plants and animals are part of the aquatic ecosystem. An ecosystem is a community of living and non-living things that interact with each other. Let's see what else we can see under the water, Seth.
Isn't that a jellyfish, Dad?
Yes, it is. Do you see the starfish?
Look, it has 5 arms. Dad, remember last summer when we were trying to catch frogs at the pond? We followed the stream until it emptied into the pond.
I remember we didn't catch any frogs. The pond is very different than what we see here in the ocean, but both the pond and the ocean are aquatic ecosystems. So are lakes, coral reefs, wetlands, and rivers.
We saw dragonflies and beetles in the water. What's the name of that plant that looked like it was growing on top of the water?
That was called duckweed. Remember how fast the minnows swim around our legs?
Lakes, rivers, ponds, coral reefs, and wetlands don't look alike. It seems strange to think that they're all aquatic ecosystems.
Most of the earth is covered with water. All of the different aquatic ecosystems are home to different kinds of plants and animals.
Well, the ocean is my favorite. There's so much to do here. I love to ride the waves, build sandcastles, and play football on the beach with my friends.
I feel the same way you do, Seth. I used to come to the ocean with my family. We spent endless summer days at the beach. I never got tired of it. I think my favorite sound in the entire world is the sound of waves crashing.
Look at all that ugly garbage. Every week it seems to get worse.
It makes me angry too, Seth. The ocean is a beautiful place that we enjoy. Trash is a pollution problem that threatens all aquatic ecosystems. Don't people realize that many different species of plants and animals need water?
Why is trash a threat to the ocean, Dad?
Trash floating in the ocean and washing up on beaches is a pollution problem that threatens all aquatic ecosystems. Did you know that almost all of the garbage in the ocean is washed in from the shore or dumped into the water?
Where does the rest come from?
It comes from boats out in the water. And most of it is plastic, which is indestructible.
What is indestructible?
It means that it can't be broken down into smaller pieces.
Do you mean like one of my plastic toys?
Exactly. Garbage isn't the only threat to the aquatic ecosystems. Sometimes oil tankers spill oil into the ocean. One oil spill can kill thousands of plants and animals.
That is terrible, Dad. My teacher told us that overfishing can hurt the oceans, too.
He is right, Seth. We eat fish, but many species of fish are becoming rare because of overfishing. And sometimes dolphins or sharks are killed in the fishing nets.
That sounds terrible. What are people doing to stop this?
One way to help is by attaching beepers to the fishing nets. The sound helps sharks and dolphins stay away from the fishing nets so they won't be caught.
You know, Dad, I know I can't do everything to help the ocean, but I think we can do something.
Well, what were you thinking about?
I want to have a beach cleanup.
That's a great idea, Seth.
My friends are helping me put posters up at school and at different places around our town. I am glad so many people are here to help.
When you care about the earth, you take the time to do something to help it. I think a lot of people really love the ocean and want to take care of it.
Dad, all these people have worked all day long and the beach is really clean. Maybe we should do this every month.
That sounds like a great plan, Seth. Why don't you talk to everyone who is helping today?
One woman took photographs of our cleanup and is going to email them to me. I'm going to put them on our class website so I can show everyone at school what we did.
That's a great idea, Seth. Maybe we will get even more people to help next month.
I feel really good about what we did today. Don't you, Dad?
I couldn't agree with you more, Seth.
Do you think it is important to help the earth in your town?
Grasslands.
Hi, I'm Leslie, and this is Grandpa Joe. We live in a type of grassland called a prairie. Every time I go to my grandpa's house, we take a walk on the prairie. Come along with us. Look, there's a monarch butterfly on a butterfly milkweed plant. When the monarch butterfly caterpillar eats the milkweed, it stores a chemical in its body that is poisonous to birds. That keeps it from being eaten by birds.
That's right, Leslie. That's one of the ways plants and animals work together to survive on the prairie. Leslie, did you know that our ancestors used the milkweed plant to make medicines to help heal colds in their throats and lungs?
I didn't. That's amazing. Grandpa, are all grasslands prairies?
No. A grassland is an ecosystem that has more grasses than trees or bushes. Our prairie is a temperate grassland. That means we have times of little or no rain, and freezing winters, and hot summers. The plants and animals that live here have special ways to protect themselves from the climate.
How is that?
Many animals live underground to protect themselves from the weather. These plants have long roots so that they can find water when there is little or no rain. Also, long roots help to stop them from being torn out of the ground when the wind whips across the prairie. Some roots can grow as deep as 5 feet.
Wow, that's taller than me. What is another kind of grassland?
There are also tropical grasslands. They are found closer to the equator where it is hot all year. They have some trees growing on them. It also rains for months at a time, followed by no rain.
Oh, like an African savanna. We learned about Africa in school.
I'm happy to see that you have a respect for the prairie. Grasslands are one of the most endangered ecosystems in the world.
Really? Why are they endangered? Grandpa, can you explain why the grasslands ecosystems are in danger?
Of all the ecosystems, grasslands are the rarest ecosystem in North America.
Really? Why?
This land was very different before the pioneers settled here. Herds of bison and antelope roamed the land. Almost all of the natural prairie has disappeared, and now the land is covered with farms and cities and towns.
But don't the farms feed people?
Yes, the prairie's rich soil helps to feed the world, and that is important. But we are losing native plants and animals for farms and cities. It's important to save native plants and animals. They are part of the prairie's life. Besides, you never know what medicines or cures for diseases might come from a plant or animal that lives on the prairie. See that red poppy over there? The drug codeine, which is added to common pain medicines, comes from a poppy plant.
What about grasslands in the rest of the world? Are they in trouble too?
Yes, it's sad, but grasslands are in trouble in other places around the world. Grasslands in some parts of Africa, the Middle East, and Asia are being overgrazed. This means that the grass can't grow fast enough to feed the animals. When this happens, the land often turns into a desert.
Grandpa, I just had a thought. What if our prairie disappears? I would really miss coming here, and these animals and plants wouldn't have a place to live. Is there anything we can do to help?
I want you to meet some friends of mine and see how we spend some of our free time. Let's go see what people are doing to restore prairie lands. They want to make sure their children will know what the prairie used to look like.
This is exciting. This land looks really sad. Do you think we can really restore it?
Well, it will never return to what it was like when this land was all one big wild prairie. What we can do is plant native plants and grasses. They will attract native animals to this spot. What job are you going to do?
I think I'll pick up the trash and the dead plants and pull out the thistles and bushes. What are you going to do to help?
I'm going to be a seed handler. Seed handlers harvest, clean, and mix seed from the healthy part of the land. When the seed is ready, we'll plant in the bare spots that you see here. This will help keep the thistles and bushes that you are pulling out from growing back. In a few years after these plants have taken hold, we will burn this area every year or two.
What? Why would you want to hurt the prairie?
Actually, fire is a grassland's friend. Fires happen naturally on prairies. It helps the native grasses and wildflowers to grow.
Do you think people are planting grass seeds in other parts of the world?
You can count on it, Leslie. I'm sure right now people in Africa and other places are planting grass seeds too. They don't want to lose the grasslands to the desert.
This place looks great. It was hard work, but it was worth it.
It feels good to work together to save a bit of the prairie.
I want to keep working on these projects. I'll talk to my friends, too. I'm sure they'll want to help save the prairie.
That's a great idea. Do you think it's important to save native plants and animals?
Desert.
Hi, I'm Diane.
And I'm Jake.
We're going to walk to the dunes. We're going to take pictures and collect information about the desert to send to my new pen pal. She's never seen the desert before. What should I tell her?
You should tell her about the weather. Tell her that it is usually warm here and that it gets really hot in the summer. Don't forget to tell her that it hardly ever rains.
Take a picture of that creosote bush. This plant really knows how to take care of itself. It has terrible tasting and smelling leaves so that animals don't eat it for dinner. Its leaves close during the day so it doesn't dry out, but they open at night to collect moisture. It has two root systems, one that grows deep and one that is near to the surface. That way, it can get the water it needs from the top or below the ground.
Make sure you tell her how the kangaroo rats can turn the seeds they eat into water. Oh, and tell her about the adult tortoise that can go 6 years without drinking water.
When you think about it, desert animals are very amazing.
Here we are.
I love the patterns the sand makes on the dunes.
Look, a lizard. He's digging under the sand. It's getting warm out. I'm sure he went down there to cool off. Let's just sit here for a while and enjoy the desert.
It's so beautiful and quiet here. I could stay here all day.
What's that noise? Can you hear it? How are people hurting the desert?
Sometimes people riding dirt bikes destroy plants and animals' habitats. The desert is very delicate and doesn't recover easily.
Let's head back home.
Yeah, some people just see the dunes as piles of sand. They don't take the time to see the plants and animals that live here.
It's not only the sand dunes that are in trouble. Every year, more and more desert is lost when houses and businesses are built on the desert. Water is also becoming a big problem on a lot of deserts. People moving to the desert can mean less water for the plants and animals living here. Look, see those people camping with their trailer?
I know people like to get away and go camping. They should camp at a place that is set up for campers.
Can I see the postcard that you got from your pen pal today?
Sure. She says she's living with her parents on a research station in the middle of Antarctica for a year.
She writes here that the area in Antarctica where she is staying is also a desert. Even though it isn't hot there, it's dry, and they get less than 3 inches of snow a year.
Hey, she writes that tourism is hurting that ecosystem too.
I think we should do something to help protect the desert. Maybe we could teach kids that it's important to treat the desert with respect and care.
That's a great idea.
Let's show kids that the desert isn't just a pile of sand with a few plants growing on it.
If we teach kids to respect the desert, maybe they will make good decisions about the desert in the future. I do have to say that riding those dirt bikes look like fun.
I know what you mean. Isn't there some way that people can ride dirt bikes without hurting the desert?
I just read about a local group that is working to turn a large part of this desert into a national park.
That's a great idea. A national park can have set places for people to camp and ride bikes, and places where the desert will be protected.
Turning part of the desert into a national park would also stop houses from being built in that area.
I'm sure there's something we can do to help.
The article said they were raising money for the project.
I know. Let's have a walkathon. We can put up signs at school and all around town.
Adults sometimes write letters to Congress.
Can kids write letters too?
Of course we can.
Hey, let's look up the addresses of our people in Congress and pass out flyers at the walkathon. We can write to our state senators and representatives and ask them to keep the desert life in mind when voting on new rules about where people can build houses and factories.
I'm excited. These are great ideas.
I can't wait to get started on something that will help protect our desert.
Look at the ecosystem where you live. Are there things that you could do to protect your ecosystem?